What's up, everybody? Welcome to the fourth Dropcast, the last Dropcast. It was just me and Trey, and all of them have been. But today we have our first guest, Jack Virag. He's a very good friend of mine. He's a marketer. I've known him for about 10 years, and he also works with the company Nutshell, which is our CRM.
Thank you again for that.
Yeah.
Appreciate your business.
Yeah. Appreciate you, bro.
Thank you.
Our annual contribution.
Yeah. So, just to get things started, I've known Jack since I was 17 years old. I'm now 28. And how old are you?
31.
31?
I'm not 31 yet, bro.
Your
My
birthday's
birthday's
on
in
Friday.
2 days. Yeah,
on Friday.
I'm already prepared for that. I've been telling myself over and over, I'm gonna be 31.
Yeah.
I just failed the age question, bro.
It's okay.
Off to a bad start. Dude. Just cut the whole thing, man. That's it.
No, we're good. We're good. But yeah,
Happy early birthday.
Thanks, bud.
Yeah.
You're the first one.
Reverse belated, I guess.
You're
the first one? Happy birthday, Jack.
Oh, yeah, reverse belated. Yeah.
Got the one.
Thanks, Trey.
You're welcome, dude.
I'm marking that in my book. Every year, the first person to wish me a happy birthday.
I got one of those, too.
Nice.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Nice.
You guys are
You don't have that?
No.
Huh.
Okay, well, I've known Jack for about 10 years now because I met him when I was 17. I'm 28. We started working together when we were at Potbelly's, and we were slanging sandwiches in downtown Ann Arbor on State Street. And Jack came to me, and I was 17 years old, and I was nervous because it was one of my first jobs I've actually been serious with my $7.20 an hour.
Oh my God, bro.
Terrible, but it was funding my life. Jack is, if you can't tell already, a really funny prankster type dude. So
That's false.
no, so when
He's lying already.
When I met him, me and him would be clowning at work, and I would be so nervous because I thought he was always going to get me in trouble. Because we had this manager, and she hated me so much, and her name was Rachel, and she was would crack the fucking whip. And it turns out now that
Rachel is my fiance.
Yeah.
We live together. We've been together for 5 years.
yeah.
That number had better be right, bro, or I'm in so much trouble.
No, but so it's super funny because there was this authoritarian figure that I was scared of, and I thought Jack was always going to get me in trouble. And there were times where I had to be like, "Yo, Jack, come on, we gotta work, bro." And he'd be like, "Nah, fam." But Jack actually worked his way through the ranks, and he's a natural born leader. He's got a crazy backstory. He's very I'm very emotionally intelligent, very good at critical thinking. And I think that's kind of where the skill set that kind of got you where you are today, if I'm correct.
I mean, thanks, dude.
And a beast at whipping Potbelly sandwiches, apparently.
Dude, I was no joke, bro. Well, I appreciate you saying those things, man. I should have come on this podcast earlier. I feel better about myself already.
Earlier, it's the
Well, so you moved your way up, and then you became manager, and then you went and managed a bunch of other restaurants downtown Ann Arbor as well.
Yeah, specifically. So I became a shift lead at Potbelly.
Mm-hmm.
I left there to go work at Satchel's Barbecue. I started as a generic manager, and then became the pit master, which is it's the weirdest position. It's not very much a restaurant position as much as it is just the meats. I was responsible for everything from
fire tender.
Yeah, dude. I would do that. I would build fires every day. I didn't even wear a uniform. I would wear a sweater.
You'd be out back doing stuff,
and
working the
it was
smoker.
literally everything from ordering the meats to butchering them and prepping them for service. And that was it. But a barbecue place, there's a big life cycle on those. You know what I mean? It takes a full-time person.
Not very big profit margins, and your product is expensive.
Actually, I mean, one of my retirement gigs that I want to pull off, one of many, is I want to own a barbecue place because the cost of goods is not very expensive. When you go to a barbecue place, you're paying for the barbecue experience basically. I don't remember the exact numbers, but the profit we would make on just selling a pound of chicken was it was $15 profit on that pound of chicken. It was nuts.
Dang.
It cost us maybe $1 tops.
Jeez.
Yeah, which is Potbelly, the cost of goods for one sandwich was $1.20 to $1.80, and they were selling for $6.
Mm-hmm.
So
I remember because
Satchel's
I would have to use my hourly wage to buy a sandwich.
Yeah, dude. So that was my biggest thing in all the restaurant management things. Oh, and then I also went to Pyology, and I was acting as GM. It was me and one other guy. He was the morning guy, I was the night guy. We didn't like each other. I still think he doesn't like me to this day.
The guy that I quit when I was drunk.
No,
on my
no,
first
that was
day.
that's a different guy. That guy was like doing something in another state, I
Oh.
think. And then it was me and this morning manager. Yeah,
Okay.
just restaurant economics. Yeah, it's
Well-
not something I expected to talk about today.
That's okay. We
Climbing the ladder, man.
breeze over that. Basically, the moral of the story is Jack is very fast learner and he's a boss.
Thanks.
So a CRM, just kind of to go into what we were talking about on our last podcast of building your brand and, just trying to finding your niche. When that happens, you get a lot of clients, and then those clients, sometimes they might fall through the cracks if you can't manage all of them.
Mm-hmm.
So a CRM is a client relations management tool. Is that exactly what it's
Basically like a digital Rolex to keep everything in order in a
Yeah.
sense. I mean, you're the expert.
Let's hear it, bro.
I couldn't have said it better. I mean, it's hard to. You kind of describe it differently for everybody based on their business needs, but like I think the best explanation for someone who like legit just doesn't know what a CRM is like, imagine if like your contacts in your phone like you've got me saved, you got my number, like my address and all that. It's kind of like that, but like more comprehensive, and it's shared with your team. So like you can go like if we're doing sales, I've got a contact. You can see him. You can see what messages I've sent to him. You can see what emails he's opened if you use certain CRMs. Ours does that.
But
Yeah,
just
and then
categorizing it all too. So like you have your salesperson, but then you also have like your marketing team where you can like then click through and see like your whole spread of your team and stuff in that sense.
Exactly. That's actually one of the fundamental principles of like why Nutshell does really well against the competitors. We're all about combining like your sales and marketing efforts. So like I'm a marketer, but I work on the growth team, which is salespeople and marketers. And like we work together. We'll like look at their pipelines and see like which emails are doing well, which ones don't get any responses. Yeah, it's like a unified effort. You know what I mean? And that's unique. Like I haven't been in another organization that does it quite like that. I mean, everyone kind of says like, "Oh, our marketers support our salespeople," but like I've had marketing jobs where like most of what I'm doing is like making like spreadsheets and PowerPoints like for the salespeople.
Yeah.
So
Do you want to touch on, John, because like you're the main person in Drop that kind of deals with the CRM. Do you want to touch on like why we went with using a CRM and like what that kind of does like for our sake?
So to be completely honest, when I first got the Nutshell CRM, I got it because of one feature, which I really liked, which was not only does it have all my clients exactly and all their data, like their phone numbers, their emails, like you can have a company, for example, and then you have all the people that work at that company. And then there's my client contact that I talk to, and then I can add tags to them. So like the tags were really helpful because I could be like, okay, well, this is the client contact. Or like, if I have, especially in the production industry, we've got grips, we've got actors, we've got camera operators, we've got photographers. And every time I get somebody's contact, I can plug that into my little Rolodex in the CRM, and I can add the tag of a photographer or a press contact or like somebody, who's a booking agent or this and that. So like if I need somebody to do that, I can just search it up real quick and it gives me a huge list of names. Now, that was super helpful, but there was way more to that CRM than I even realized when I first bought it. I was having trouble. We were at peak capacity and I was really having trouble juggling clients. And it was like certain things were just kind of falling through the cracks. I might not have emailed somebody back here or done this or done that the way I was supposed to. And I was like,
shows you like your last like how many days it's been since you've like contacted this person and stuff. So
it syncs to your Google Calendar and it syncs to your contacts and everything in your Gmail. So like, if I am a couple days late on an email or vice versa, the client is, I can click on my jobs, because what I would do is I would form a pipeline and I'd be like, these are the jobs that we have all open. And then I would enter in exactly what it is. If it's an advertisement, if it's a documentary work, if it's a music video or whatever it is, add in how much money it was worth, how many days it is, and then you can build your stages. So for us, it was really nice because we would be in the pitch like curation stage that I built.
Yeah, exactly.
Then it would go from pitch to pre-pro, and then from pre-pro to production, and then production to post, team recap, like
then you get to see that nice green bar once you've finished a project.
and then you can have
That
your
green
leads.
bar, bro.
That green bar. And then
Yes,
it goes into
dude.
our money, and it keeps track of our money too. And it can literally tell me like, oh, man, the worst part about it though is like I was entering all of our old data before COVID, and I bought it like right before COVID really cracked down, and it'll be like, last year at this time you were doing this much money, and this year you're like this much percentage down, and I'd be like, fuck, like,
Dude.
Just gives you a big middle finger because CRMs don't understand COVID.
yeah, well, it's
Yeah,
just
it's
like
tough.
you know, it does literally like everything that I need it to, but I kind of want to save some more of the CRM talk for a little bit afterwards, and you know, push a little bit forward on like more of who Jack is in Jack's story.
If what you have in store is like CRM help, you just get your computer, bro. I'll build your pipeline for you right now. I also want to say I have the authority to do this. If anyone listening is like interested in what this is, because it's like for small businesses.
Oh yeah,
I can
it
give
helps.
out a discount. I can give out like
We got
at
that
least
discount.
10% off. So like if you're listening to this, get at me. I'll give you a discount. We can talk about it.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Cool. We got signed up for a year, and we got the discount. And actually, Eric Furlong, who's in our Call of Duty group,
Yeah,
also.
dude.
Me and Jack play a lot of Call of Duty together. We're like in a huge group chat with like
Yeah,
5, 10,
yeah, I
15
know
other
about it.
dudes.
We've got a 60 person regiment.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
We run
It's-
it.
When's
It's
the
too
next
much.
tournament?
It's too much.
We're the
I have all that
suck-
muted, bro.
Suck gang.
Yeah.
69 steps to success.
You can't put that. That may or may not be right. No one go looking for us.
But yeah, Jack's just been a huge help along the way for a lot of stuff, not only as a business mentor, but mostly a life coach. And then on top of that, like when me and Trey were kind of getting drop off the ground in certain ways and building our website, you really helped us with like how to utilize our SEO, how to like build everything into our website the way that we need to, so we can get onto the top of Google and other things like that. Like we had a lunch about it and everything, and it took it and ran, and it's helped a lot.
Yeah,
totally.
you touched on the key thing though. You said you took it and ran. Like there was a while where I was part-time at Nutshell, and I was consulting in my free time. One of my big clients, it was just kind of like a prolonged way of letting go of my previous employer. Like I really liked them. I learned a lot there. It's a family business, and they're just like great people. So like I consulted for them, and then like that opened the doors. Like I just said yes to a couple projects here and there, like nothing crazy. Actually some of them got crazy, but yeah, like while I was consulting, a lot of people like I would put a lot of thought, and I feel like I'm like showing my work as best as possible for like the marketing stuff. And the thing is, people who are looking for marketing consulting help usually don't understand marketing yet. It's usually like young businesses, and like it's no fault of their own. It's not like they like you can just go your whole life without understanding how like good marketing should work. You know what I mean? Like no one ever comes and waves that in front of you. So people would, hit me up about like this hypothetical stuff. Should we do this? Should we do that? And I would put tons of thought into like what their go-to-market strategy is, like where their product fits in the market, what their pricing should be, what their emails should say, what their website should say, who they're targeting. I mean, I would do it all, like literally from writing the emails to like designing the website if they paid me to do that. Otherwise, just like giving them like a wireframe, like it should look like this. And
quick side note, you're trained in like Webflow. You just taught yourself what?
Yeah, I did. I did. So I'm HTML and CSS certified. I use a lot of visual web editors like Wix. It's like it's as easy as like writing with crayons. Like you just like drag and drop like shapes and words. Yeah, and then I recently learned Webflow. Our creative director Rebecca is like the primary like Webflow person. I just kind of just absorb like what she's going through. And then also we have an agency called Huck Finch. They're actually local. It's these two guys, Hein and Matt, and they're like our Webflow pros. We kind of like have an ongoing thing because we're migrating a site over from WordPress to Webflow. So they've pretty much like taught me and Rebecca like everything. Can't recommend them enough. But yeah, I would meet with businesses and I'd give them a plan. Like literally, like if I were like one of those like sketchy marketers, like I would give them like like I'd attach like a $10,000 price tag to that. Like this is like your 3-year marketing strategy. But maybe I should have priced it because people would take it more seriously. But like I found a lot of people will just take that document and like do one of like the 30 things that I recommend. And then it's like 2 years later, they're still in the same spot. And like, it makes me like low key salty. Like,
Because you put all that work into it and they didn't take your advice.
And they also like my hourly rate is really high because like I don't actually love consulting. Like maybe if I didn't have Nutshell, like I would like it more, but like I have my own thing. I've got my own team and my own full-time thing. Like if I'm going to do consulting on the side, like you
got to make it work. And like,
you got to pay a bunch of money for it. And like, so people would spend lots of money for me to tell them stuff that they wouldn't do. And like, I don't know, it's just kind of a bummer. I wish that more people took it seriously. But you guys did all that. Like you guys got the CRM. You guys, your site is amazing. You know what I mean? Like,
thank you.
Your social presence and stuff is like, I don't even know how to do social media, honestly. Like I'm not even that kind of marketer.
It's a
like,
bitch.
Well, you completely memed out LinkedIn.
I want my personal like goal in life is to take LinkedIn from like the start. To me, it feels like a starchy, awkward networking event.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Where people are like,
Yeah.
"Oh, hi, I'm the CEO of Bob's Furniture. My name is Bob," and it's just like weird stuff. And like, I want to turn it into like, you know, like a more like workplace ish, like where you can be like funny and like professional at the same time. There's not like a big audience for that. Yeah, watch me like spend like 20 minutes making a meme that gets like 1 like, and it's like my boss just being like a good guy. Like, go get him, Jack.
Well, Jack, I think you also have a really fine line, and you're really good at balancing it when it comes to like the jokester of it, but then also the professional aspect, where like you can go out and do the things that most people in a professional like realm wouldn't necessarily find like either the most tasteful or like the most professional, but you've somehow written it off, or like they've written it off to like, oh, that's just Jack being Jack, but like we can't lose him because he's really good at this. You know what I mean?
That's the secret is like, I think a lot of people don't know me in real life. You know what I mean? They don't know that I'm like actually a good person or like good at what I do. And they just think I'm just like some weird like person who like escaped 4chan for the day to like come and like cause some problems on LinkedIn real quick. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, I guess I think if people like really knew my intention more, like maybe it would be better received. Like,
I think it's well received.
Or just like letting your work speak for itself, and everything else just like doesn't fucking matter.
I should be a little more transparent about like the actual work that I do and like how complicated it is. That's something in general that like, if people ask me like what I'm up to for the week, unless it's like literally a status report, I'll just be like, oh, I'm doing some blog stuff, some SEO stuff, whatever. You know what I mean? Like I'm really bad at like putting things out there. I just don't think
I'm super bad at that too.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough to like literally like recall all the things that are occupying your mind at that at that moment. It's like,
and
I'm
projects
in the
have you been
zone right
working
now.
on? It's like,
Yeah, dude, when people ask me that, they're like, what projects have you been working on? I always blank because it's like, dude, I don't know.
You remember it like right as you say.
Or like when
that
people
person,
ask,
you're like, oh yeah, we've been doing like 10 projects.
Yeah, it's rough.
or like when people ask your birthday and you say what age you're about to be. I'm playing. Only a dummy would do that.
So let's derive or like digress from the marketing and the SEO and all that stuff. And I kind of want to talk with you just kind of like about other parts of your life and like where you got here. And it's up to you to go whatever many details you want. But one thing in this show is that it turns out that people like hearing about who we are and what people do and like the accomplishments that they've made in life, rather than like a bunch of camera jargon and stuff all the time. So
Yeah, totally.
we're like kind of splitting it down the middle for our viewers here, so we can keep everybody happy.
Yeah, I'm one of those people for sure. Yeah, John, what you're alluding to is that I'm a recovering addict. I was addicted to heroin when I started when I was 15, bro. It was bad. Started like sniffing it and then like got into intravenous. Got clean when I was 21.
And that's when we met.
That's when we met. I had like 30 days clean, bro. I was fresh out of jail. So like that's not something that like I've spoken about until like very recently. Now that I'm like established as like you can trust this person with like your website, you know what I mean? Like but yeah, like that's the thing about like if you're, you know, a junkie, if you need help like with addiction, like they just throw you in jail over and over again. Like and then like the state somehow they make money off of you even though you're broke. Like it's so that happened to me, and I did like 30 days like a million times and like a couple 60s and 190 and just like literally just for drug paraphernalia. Like I don't have any like burglaries or like, you know, any.
You're a nonviolent offender.
Yeah, dude, I've never even been involved in a scenario like that, let alone like gotten charges like that. But you know, that doesn't matter to the state, the powers that be, I guess. But like every time I was in jail, I would notice that like all the junkies, like after they go through their withdrawals, they're like normal people. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah,
and like
totally.
when you're in like a big 60-man cell, like you can see like there are people with behavioral issues. Like they'll beat somebody up over like lunch. You know what I mean? Like because their role was smaller than that person's role or whatever. Like there are people with like real problems, violent, scary people. And
The criminal system just wants to slap that big old Band-Aid over it and call it a day.
Yeah. If I wanted to be super woke, I would say that those violent people typically like had really bad, like they've been failed previously by like the state and like just by society, like, and that caused them to turn out that way. I don't want to say like no violent people are guilty of like what they've done, but I think that like we can make changes to society that like cut down on that as well. But like in jail, I mean, like the junkies are just like normal people. And it's like, it's just a guy who can't stop doing heroin, which is illegal. So like this person is just going to be in jail their whole life. Mm-hmm. It's weird. It's disheartening.
And I think one of the things about it too is it's like, it's really difficult for people who don't have any addiction issues or anything like that to grasp the concepts of what's going on. I mean, because I just like a month ago lost like my best friend to addiction issues, and it was like one of the hardest things I've ever had to deal with, and I'm still dealing with it. But it took me a long time to understand exactly what he was going through, and just understanding that you're right. I mean, these are normal, beautiful souls, but they just have like issues when it comes to like addiction and other things like that because of past societal failures and nature versus nurture and all that stuff. And you know,
totally.
But then the beauty of it though is like what happened next, like after you got out and you got clean. And
yeah, so this time like what I wish that people had told me like from the time that I was a child, like was that you are either being an addict is like something that is just, I wouldn't say wrong, but it's like a tangible thing in your brain. You know what I mean? Like the right doctors could like look at all of our brains and be like, oh, this one's the addict right here. You know what I mean? Like it's a real thing.
Yeah, it's a makeup of your like chemicals in your brain and stuff.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah,
you're right. Like I will never be able to, like, long story short, I'll never be able to like use drugs or like drink alcohol recreationally. Like I don't want to say it affects me more necessarily, but it means something to me in such a way that it's very hard for me to let go. It doesn't make sense. It's not rational, but like I know that about myself. But I didn't know that like when I was getting started, like with heroin especially, like I thought like everyone who was addicted to drugs was just like a loser. Like they just didn't have the willpower to like to say no to this thing. Yeah, I really, really wish that like that was taught in schools. But it's not. Like in DARE, they're just like, don't ever do drugs. Like only losers do them. And then like you find out like your teacher smokes weed, and it's like, oh, so that was all like a lie, you know? Like
yeah, that's very valid. Holy shit.
But yeah, so I came to Ann Arbor. I didn't grow up here. I grew up in Livonia, which is like one of my least favorite places on the planet. It's like, picture a grid of like,
it's that map that you made in the meme. It's so funny.
Yeah, basically just, I mean, my advice to people who don't know what Livonia is, just like, don't ever go there. If you want to picture Livonia in your mind, picture a grid.
This.
Yeah, picture this grid right here. And it's just subdivisions of like kind of shitty houses full of, I don't know. There are good people in Livonia. I shouldn't like shit on it so much. My experience there was not great, but there's just not a lot to do. There's
kinda
like
shitty houses with kind of shitty people.
I was going to say that, and I was like, dude, I can't. Yeah, that's not. I still know a bunch.
If anybody's listening from Livonia right now, they're like, yo, fuck this podcast, dog.
No, it's just not a place for someone like me. Like if I were, I mean, I understand why people live there, and like most of it is like family. People live there because like their grandparents lived there, so like it's important to them to be close, and like that makes total sense. And like there are businesses there. It's just not the spot for me, bro. Like I need the Arb, and I need like a river, and I need like some winding roads. I think and stuff.
For some people too, being in the same place that you grew up with, or like that you grew up in with like all the people that you knew and stuff, like sometimes all those friends can be really toxic too. And like, I mean, I've seen that with like some friends going like through high school and stuff, like they don't live here anymore, and like for the sole reason like they're in recovery too, and like for the sole reason that just like Ann Arbor for them is like a really toxic place, and like they've recognized that and made that conscious decision to like not live here anymore, which is really I think, valid.
Yeah, that's totally right. I think that people are capable of changing themselves for the better. It's just hard to do it when you're in like the same environment. Say one day I woke up super inspired and I was like, I'm going to be like this type of person. And like, you know, I hit up all my homies and I'm like, yo, this is like the new me. They'd be like, whatever, dude. Like, you're still going to wake up in the same bed, go to the same job, do the same stuff, play the same video games. Like, it's easier to do those like metamorphoses, like when you change your scenery as well. You know what I mean? For me, that was Ann Arbor, and I was able to, you know, find out what working a legitimate job was like, and like started having like real healthy like adult friendships and like relationships and stuff, rather than just everybody is some sort of drug acquaintance. You know what I mean? And like, well, that was critical for me. It was coming here and leaving. I would definitely not be clean if I had stayed in Livonia for sure.
And so this goes back to some analogies, not really analogies, some, you know, whatever, some things that the way that my brain views this subject is like plants and soil and pots and stuff. It's like if we're a plant, we all like need to grow. We're all in a pot, and that pot has soil. And it's like if you're in a toxic pot or you're in a toxic habitat where you're getting choked out by other plants or other things like that, like you have to uproot yourself and put yourself in a whole new habitat to grow, you know? And I mean, it's the same thing with Trey. It's like being born and raised in this area. I mean, like I talked about on the last podcast where like I have certain friends who aren't doing the things that they need to be doing. And if I met them today, I wouldn't be friends with them, but I love them to death because of the history that I have with them. And it's just difficult to see your friends not doing what they're supposed to be doing. And like I was talking about, you're the average of all your friends and other things like that. But it's like, you know, those habits and stuff, you have to surround yourself with other people like Trey and them who like, you know, kind of got me out of those cycles.
Yeah.
It's definitely like, in a sense, like uprooting like what you did, like, and what we were kind of talking about is definitely a thing. But it's not like, my mom always tells me this, it's not where you are, it's who you are, in a sense too, which like, I mean, both are definitely valid, but like it definitely stems from within, like change at least.
Yeah, I love that quote, dude. Tell your mom that's a great quote.
Yeah,
that's something that I kind of like struggled with when I moved here. It was like, you know, I'm in a new place, but like, who am I? Like, why am I here? You know what I mean? And like, you know, I kind of got an opportunity like through recovery, like to define myself. Like, I want to be a trustworthy person. I want to be an accountable person. And like, my case was unique because like I started getting high when I was literally like living at my mom's house. I was 15, you know, like I didn't have a chance to like try adulthood and then like try again. What were you going to say?
Sorry to interrupt. What was the gateway into using opioids at such a young age?
It's kind of a crazy, it's like a weird story, and like everything just fell into place in the perfectly wrong way. Like, I mean, everyone smoked, like all the kids smoked weed. You know what I mean? Like that's just whatever. In high school, like you go to school, you're a freshman, people are smoking weed, you start doing it too. And like I found that like I was, so I met somebody at a party once who was from Detroit. And I started buying weed from him, and it was like better than, like I thought the guy was cool. Like I don't know what he was doing like at a Livonia party, but like
up in that clientele, baby.
I guess. I mean, it worked on me, dude. Like I started going to him. And his weed, he sold Nick bags for $5, and I was able to sell them for $10 at my high school, and people would still like pay me for gas on top of that, just because it was so much better than like, you know, the shit that you'd buy from like, you know, the kid named Brandon who drives a fucked up Honda Civic. You know what I mean? Like, so I was doing that, and like that kind of made me like a cool, you know, this guy can get you whatever you need type deal. We tried like ecstasy like once or twice. Like I didn't even go through like the ecstasy scene like everyone else seemed to. And then my girlfriend at the time, her grandfather passed away, and they asked me for help cleaning out like his stuff. This is so bad. This is like a tough story to tell.
You don't have to, hey man.
No, I'd like to. I mean, okay. I think a lot of people can relate. A lot of people in this spot. It's how these things happen. You know, everyone's got a story like this. But so we went to this place, to his house. Her grandmother was just like, you know, elsewhere at the time. She couldn't handle it. And I found that this guy didn't take any of the opiates that they had been prescribing him for like the last like 5 years of his life. Like this guy was sick and just had like a double-handed, one of those big dresser drawers. You know what I mean? Like full of drugs. I mean, everything from Vicodin, Percocets, some weird shit called Darvocet that like doesn't even exist anymore. And then of course like all the oxys from 30s to like actual oxy 80s. Like he just got the prescriptions and filled them and left them in his drawer. And dude, I like at the time, like I remember thinking to myself, like, I don't have to take all of these. You know what I mean? Like I can just leave these. That's the responsible thing to do. But like somehow it just happened to like I just happened to have a backpack on me. You know what I mean? Like that's how whimsical this decision was. It was like I have a backpack. I might as well fill it up with these fun drugs that like I can sell and like share with my friends.
That, drug dealer kind of mentality, which like what you were saying too. I think it stopped recording. Just with like that whole mentality of like being that dude then with like, especially in high school when everyone's young and dumb, of just like, you're the hot shit selling everything on the block. I think that definitely does something like psychologically that like some people can't get out of, and it's serious for sure.
That was basically it. It was not at all about money to me. I don't ever think I had more than like $100 on me. Like in high
it's
school.
the
But
status of
it was
like,
about, I just wanted people to think that like how did Jack get these weird drugs? And I'd be like, that's just me, brother. Like,
I'm just built different.
yeah, dude, I'm just built different. Yeah, it was at the time, like everyone, including teachers, like called me Captain Jack. I was like, I had long hair. I had a goatee somehow. Like I was already like becoming like this persona that like I was like excited. You know what I mean? I was like geeked. I was like, I feel like a cool person. And like, now I'm going to have all these drugs and like everyone's going to like me. Like, that's really like what it was based in. What ended up happening was like, I mean, my friends and I got like really high for a few months, and then like one day, like my life was just more tuned towards like doing opiates all the time. Like
I hate opiates. I hate the way that
routines.
You're blessed, man. The first time I tried one, it was like, it felt like everything that was wrong, like in my brain, like finally all made sense. I was like, this is how I was designed to feel.
It's dangerous.
Like, yeah, it was bad. I should have known right then, dude.
Well, when I say I hate opiates, I've never done them. I've like my doctors with my anxiety and stuff have tried to prescribe me opioids, and I just can't do it because I've seen the younger generation. But when I was in high school and kind of got toward like 16, 17, 18, like I would notice the younger generation with like rap music and stuff. I mean, Trey's generation really like the pills and everything were much more predominant. And I started hearing about these like beautiful young people that I knew that were like, you know, some guys who was a filmer for skateboarding or this and that. And like, you know, I've got hep C or my liver's messed up or this and that. And it's like, dude, you're not even 17 yet. What is going on? So then like a lot of my friends, I've lost so many friends to opioids and fentanyl specifically, but it's just like so disgusting. Like I can't even like, I hate what it's done to society.
That's
Same.
Going through high school, I lost my best friend to Xanax. Like crashed his car, like just messed up off of it, and like the biggest eye-opening experience to me, just because like I saw everyone else in the friend group still doing the same thing that they were doing and still doing a bunch of Xanax and like partying and stuff, and it's just like I kind of stepped back and was just like, this is not where it's at, you know, and kind of that was like that pivotal moment for me. It was like, I'm not going to just live my life and watch the same episode all day kind of thing, which was kind of crazy. And like,
and that was that was like your best friend.
Oh, that was like, my day one homie. Yeah. Rest in peace, Garth.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah. I mean, we all have our stories for sure, but it was like, it's just like that. It was such a weird, like stepping back moment of like, holy shit, you guys are still like, in a sense, like celebrating his death with like what killed him in a sense, which is just like really, really twisted and messed up. And like, it falls under like addiction in a sense too, because that's one hell of a drug, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, it also comes with privilege of who we are and where we are as like, you know, cis white males in like a middle tier to upper tier society of where we are in Ann Arbor, Livonia area and stuff like that. Like it sucks to have, to, you know, be stuck in one of those situations where like that seems to be normalized, like it's okay and everything. And
yeah, like if you do get arrested, like, you know, you'll just get let out. Yeah,
slap on the wrist around here.
Mm-hmm.
That stopped happening to me after a while. Like there was a time when like my homies and I used to like run from the cops all the time, like in cars or like on foot. Like they would roll up to like wherever the party was at. People would run, you know what I mean? But like that like when you do it in like a vehicle, like
Yeah, that's another story.
if I did that now and like got caught, dude, I'd be gone for
Your life.
Yeah, dude, like it was nice knowing you.
Mm-hmm.
But we used to do that shit casually, like drunk. You know what I mean? Like it's just like you never think about like the repercussions or consequences. And like it was interesting for me to realize that like not everybody grows up that way. You know what I mean? A lot of people grow up in such a way that like if they encounter the police like beat the shit out of them. Like they just have bad experiences with the police and like bad experiences with the justice system. Like a lot of people in jail for things that they shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Like for instance, like weed, there are still people locked up for weed when like, you know, dispensary owners are like, you know, getting
Making
shout outs in the local paper.
bucks, yeah.
Yeah. They're like
Yeah.
local heroes.
So like attending the city council meetings, making donations and all that stuff too.
dude, yeah, there's nothing wrong with them, but it's just like I used to live next to this place called Bloom, and I believe it's got 2 woman owners, and that's what makes it like special. And like it just made me sick that people would say that about like those people who are like distributing marijuana, whereas like if you're some kid like from a place that's over policed, like you're still in jail. You know, it's not like they were just let out. Like that would still be unfair if they like let everybody out, but like they don't have anything and others have this business. But
Right.
no, like it's still going on. Like
And let's
there's
not
still
beat around
people
the bush
locked up.
too. I mean, it's totally judicial systematic racism and broken like court systems in America and everything like
100%,
that.
yeah.
I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah,
But
they basically
It's
took
fucked
away
up is what it
slavery
is.
and then put in the prison system. I actually have something really interesting to say about that. I'll keep it really quick. I
Yeah, go
promise.
for it.
I've been
No,
talking
you're good.
so much.
No, you're good, man.
There's somebody in this documentary that I saw called The House I Live In. It's about addiction, but it covers like what causes it. It basically hits every single nail on the head. There was one part that kind of was like interesting. It's like one of those slow burns, but it's like this old dude. He looks like he's Amish or something like that. It shows him like doing his research, like books from the library. You know what I mean? Like he's like that type of dude. And he says that it is the tendency of any society to victimize like the bottom 10 to 20% of that society. You can look at it until like racism, you know what I mean? In
even
America,
the caste system in other countries.
yeah, in other countries, they just call it how they see it. It's the caste system. Like if you're born an untouchable, you're just, you know, you're fucked.
That's
like
what you are,
better
yeah.
luck in the next life, brother. You know what I mean? But like in the U.S., like when things were like great, like the Make America Great Again days back in like the 40s and 50s
Great
and
in
60s.
quotations for
Yeah.
those that are listening on Spotify.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, so big quotation marks there. Yeah, like that completely ignores the American experience for anyone who isn't a white person. You know what I mean? America was not so great if you were black in the 40s, bro. I promise
Hell
you.
no.
You
It's
know what
not
I
so
mean?
great
Like,
now.
right. But so now it's more now it's not as overt as that. It's not just like, oh, you know, we're going to be racist against blacks as a society. Now it's you know, like mostly the judicial system and like classism and like drugs are just one factor of that, but it's a big indicator. You can look at you know, like look at the way that they treated me, I guess, to say like I never really got a chance. Like, I mean, they send you to like fucked up like rehabs that like don't do much good, and like they make you enter something called drug court, which just says it just says that you have to drug test 3 times a week, and if you fail that, then you get like a double sentence when you go to jail, and like those things don't help. It's just a way to like get a bunch of money out of me.
Yeah,
But like that's the alternative to like actual like racism, and like, you know what I mean? Like, so now it's just changed a little bit, but like look how many people we have incarcerated, bro. There's no reason for that.
I mean,
like
look
there
at
are other
the Rittenhouse case.
Yeah.
Not to get too political. but,
Perfect
like,
example of what just happened with Kyle
with
Kyle Rittenhouse.
how so?
How he was treated in comparison to like, you know, if you guarantee if there's a person of color in the same position, what the fuck is going to happen?
Oh my god, he would already be like they probably would have just shot him on the spot. The police would have.
They wouldn't have let him walk through with a rifle. That's
Yeah,
Wow,
and
yeah,
give-
that's for
give him the thumbs up and be like, well, we'll wake you up tomorrow morning to come to court.
Jesus.
Yeah, dude. It's I mean, those are like the obvious ones, but like the not so obvious ones, like we have a D&I, diversity and inclusion group.
Don't you run that?
I help run it. I help run it. My coworker Ashante started it. She kind of like came to me to like literally just do like some administrative help and like write like a proposal, and like we just found that we make a really good team. Like it's her idea, you know what I mean? Like I feel like she runs it. She will tell you that we both run it. It's that kind of
I know what you mean.
It's that kind of relationship. But I mean, like this is all like new stuff to me. You know what I mean? It's not like I have like old insights and experience to like teach people besides being like, yo, I'm a junkie. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but one thing, like, this is like a really big one for me. Like, I went my whole life thinking that I'm just really good at job interviews. Like every interview, every job that I've made it to the interview stage for, I get, you know, and like, I just thought like I'm charming and like people like me and I'm funny, you know what I mean? And like that, it might be part of it, but that's like, I would not have that same luck if I weren't the color that I am or the gender that I am even, you know what I mean? Like, and like when that occurred to me, it was like, that feels bad. You know what I mean? That feels bad. And the first thing,
I just thought I was good at interviews.
I know, dude. I
up.
wanted to be able to brag about something. Yeah, the first thing that makes me think of is like, there's some kid out there who's just like me, but like not my color, and like, but doesn't get all the jobs and can't brag about the things that I brag about. Like even though fundamentally we're the same, and like that thought sucks. Like I hate to think about that. And then all the people who aren't like me, who just aren't given like a fair shot because they grew up someplace where certain things are different and like their life experience is different. They show up to an interview and like maybe they don't trust the interviewer for good reasons, and then like the interview goes badly. Doesn't say anything about how they would perform as an employee or like their aptitude. It's just like, yo, you weren't a vibe. Like we just weren't vibing you. You know what I mean? And like that kind of stuff is like, still, it's just weird to think about, dude. Thinking about like I'm not actually just good at interviews. It's also like huge privilege that like has manifested jobs and careers for me, like that I've benefited from. I can't like deny like, oh, I haven't had privilege because I was arrested a bunch of times. No, I still have it. Like, despite all that, like,
it's
proven time and time again in today's day and age.
Yeah. And it seems to be one of those things where like everybody talks about that it's, we're progressing beyond it and stuff like that. But honestly, from the things that I see on the news day to day, it feels like we're still in the same fucking boat. I mean, we just had Trump as president and things, and not to get political. And honestly, I don't want to make this as like, woe is us, white guilt. Like we have.
Who'd you vote for, bro?
No, but you know what I mean. It's just like. It's just a difficult thing, but that's why I love your story so much, because you are somebody that I've always looked up to. You're somebody that even in times when I feel weak with my addictions and other things like that, like I can come to you and talk to you. And like in our Call of Duty group chat, like we were just laughing about this the other day. It's like people are like, dude, there's like hundreds of messages in 15 minutes. And it's usually just like me or somebody else or other people riffing off of each other. And it's basically like a support group.
I coined that term.
You did.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
And it feels good, but like, when me and Trey were getting this business started, I remember just like being like, okay, we need to take it to the next level. I'm struggling to manage all these clients. Our website needs to be where it is. It's not where it is. And, let's talk to somebody that I know about it. So I hit you up and I was like, yo, so you do this stuff, right? And you're like,
I remember that was years ago, bro. Yeah.
You were like, yeah, bro, let's sit and talk about it.
Yeah.
Where did we go out to lunch?
Itchy Bone.
Itchy
that
Bone. That's right.
was right next to where I live, dude. I think I walked there actually.
Right by my parents' crib.
It was as little lift as possible for me. I was like, let's meet for lunch, but I'm walking there.
There you go.
No, you hit on this thing, John. Like I've tried to make it. I kind of feel like it's like my actual purpose to like. I mean, you're a friend. I would help you regardless, and like Trey, now you're my friend after we met that day.
Totally.
So like, I would help you guys with whatever. But dude, like the big thing is like I didn't go to school. You know what I mean? Like I like learned all this accessible stuff just from like needing to do it. It's kind of like my job to share that with other people. You know what I mean? Or like help however I can. And especially like I had this buddy who was like doing this SoundCloud rap thing for a time. Like I'm not into that scene. I can't say like how good he was, but like just kind of anyone who is like bold enough to actually like pursue their dreams, especially if it's like something like being a SoundCloud rapper, like you get a lot of hate for that. You know what I mean?
Sorry, I'm falling
No.
out.
All right, never mind. He's good. Sorry. Continue.
My bad.
Didn't mean to throw you
it's
off
my
there.
fault, you guys. I'm sorry.
I'm staring at the camera and it's looking like your head's cut off, but
Sorry.
it's just my angle.
My head does not feel cut off right now. That's not funny. That's not funny. Cut that.
Yeah.
Cut that part. But no, I just feel like it's my job to like support people who are like following their dreams. You know what I mean? Like my family certainly did it for me. It makes a big difference. Just even if it's just being there for someone who wants to bounce ideas off you, like that shit costs me nothing. I could spend that time scrolling on Facebook. You know what I mean? Like, but for someone else, it might be like that key moment. You know what I mean? Like you kind of have to do those things.
I mean, and that applies to like every field too, with like whether you're in the creative field like us or like tech like you, and just those like boosts of encouragement. And like you were saying too, with like how you haven't gone to like school or college at all for this, like just the sole drive and like pure passion or like want to succeed in that sense. I feel like I kind of want to have, or like I have that same sort of drive just in the creative realm of like,
Yeah,
I think
you guys definitely do.
I think it stems from just like being afraid to fail, like, or like being like, I don't know. I just like want it so bad that it's like, it's terrifying in a sense.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. Go ahead.
I was going to say, it's just like, so one of the most important things and why I thought you'd be a great guest, and just because like I've known you for this long and I've seen the accomplishments that you make. Like I remember the first day we met, you were like, yo, I just got out of jail, blah, blah, blah. And then I was like, tight, this guy's pretty cool, I guess. He's 17 years old. He's pretty funny. And you're like, yo, check out this tattoo. I just did it with a staple and graphite and toothpaste.
Yeah, that's, I can't believe you remember the ingredients in that.
Yeah. Oh, I remember because you told me.
That's an authentic jail tattoo.
My brain went like, I was like, I've never fucking heard of anything
for
like
the
that.
record, it was not like a prison sentence. I was there for 45 days and it was just that boring. It's not like some gang shit. It was like, I wonder if I could do tattoos in here.
Well, just being like, okay, so I'm 17. We meet. Then beyond that, like we have this manager who, like, honestly, I thought was going to be the demise of me, and I thought she was going to be the demise of both of us. And she was.
I'm telling her you said that, bro. She's gonna see it. Please watch this podcast, Rachel.
Yeah, but then it turns out it's just like, okay, so then, I moved on to serving tables and doing all that other stuff, but you continued to move up the ranks in managerial aspects. But then on top of that, like you also like showed and proved who you were and like what you're capable of. And then the manager that I thought was like way above me, I mean, like, I thought was like hated us and everything, now you guys are dating, and then beyond that, you guys are engaged, and like there's just like a whole power dynamic flip that when I was like young age, I was like, okay, so this is where you're at in society, this is where I'm at, and then beyond that, like it scales, and you continue to grow naturally, and it's insane too with like because I like, not to get too weird about it, but with the amount of money that you make, the amount of people that you're helping, and like the positive influence that you have on other people's life, like that was in you the whole time, and it's just like you kind of just continued to step up those ladders and get to where you are in life, if I'm onto something here.
He loves you is what he's saying.
You just
it's supposed to be more
just
of like,
say the L word, bro.
Well, I do love you, bro. I got hella man love for both of you guys. But the thing about it is it's the same thing with Trey, because Trey, when we first started getting to work together and getting to know each other on a professional basis, you told me a couple of things. One was you never wanted to work for anybody ever again besides yourself, and I was like, okay, good luck. And then now he's just like still killing it, because like I wasn't in that mindset of that being a possibility. And then two, there were times when I'd be like, yo, let's go do this or do that, and you're like, bro, that costs money. And I was like, yeah, what about it? Like, let's go do it. And you're like, I'm trying to save money, let's go work instead. And I'd be like, bro, you're going to work yourself to death. And you said something along the lines of like,
you start off every day with $0 in your pocket.
Well, that too, but no, you said, you were like, bro, we can, because it was specifically one time when we were going to go on our friend's boat, and you were like, we can go on a boat later, but it's going to be us on a yacht. You're like, we can go on a boat now, or we can go on a yacht later.
No, what is the saying? You said I'm not trying to be on a yacht by myself. I'm trying to be on multiple yachts with all my friends. But
exactly.
That's not going to happen if all my friends are broke. So
exactly. So like getting underneath people and lighting a fire under their ass and encouraging them and trying to lift them and stuff like that, I think is just
because
really...
being on a yacht by yourself is only so fun.
Yeah.
You start twiddling your thumbs at a certain point, but you got your homies.
I'm getting that tattooed on my other arm next time I go to jail, bro.
So never. Cool.
Yeah. Knock on wood. I would knock on this, but it's
oh yeah.
There you go. I love that.
But yeah, so to kind of get back more into like, if I feel like we should move on and go back to kind of some more of the CRM and stuff like that. But if there's anything else any of you guys want to say on these subjects, like, you can just go for it. I
kind of wanted to, like one thing I feel very strongly about is that there are so many kids who are out there like working at like, the pot bellies or the pieologies or the barbecue spots, just like us, like with the same aptitude and stuff. Those environments aren't conducive for people like that. I remember, I basically just like, I didn't necessarily get like abused, but like people definitely treated me like my like positivity was like something I had to like fucking dial down for like the shifts and like,
Oh yeah.
stop being weird. Like,
I mean, I just said I felt that way when we first started working together. I
yeah,
thought it was going to
like-
get me in trouble.
I mean, I did get us in a lot of trouble all the time. Like, but also, yeah, I mean, yeah, like part of it is like we were just like goofing, like for a lot of it, like getting girls' numbers and stuff like that. Like that's just like you shouldn't do that. But like also like, you know, people would really hate on like the parts of us that are shining now. And like there are kids who are out there who like, I want everybody to know that like a good career is possible without school and like, you know, without all that stuff. Fuck your boss. Like he or she doesn't know shit. Like when they say that, like, you know, when they yell at you and like make you feel bad over your, you know, $10 an hour job, like don't let that shit get to you. Cause like it got to me often. Like I was so pissed. And like, fortunately, like I was able to like lean on my family. Like they're all like software people and, you know, they had already succeeded like when I was still getting started. A lot of people don't have that. And they just think that like, their boss says they're a fuck up and like their boss is probably
they just
right.
start to believe that. Yeah. And it's just like a trickle down like into the ditch effect.
Right.
I
Exactly.
agree.
I fucking hate that, bro. That
whack.
is so wrong. Like those environments are literally like, I'm not trying to knock anyone who thrives in those environments, but in my experience, like they're not designed to allow people to succeed. Like they're designed to keep people down and like keep them manageable. And
Well,
like,
I mean, yeah, that's like with all the like minimum wage jobs. It's like that's
Dude,
all that,
and
like,
then
way more common than in like the higher up kind of positions. But like to get to those higher up positions is like that much harder, you know?
yeah, and you got to take a hit and like go back to school or something like that. You know what I mean? It's just it doesn't feel accessible. And it like my first office job, I got that shit off Craigslist. Like it was like a sketchy. I don't even want to get into it, but it was like a sketchy operation. But like I learned how to use like all the Google Suite. You know what I mean? Like all that stuff.
We
and
love
like,
Google Suite.
Oh yeah, we do too. But yeah, then I was doing like HR and like digital support, and like I started writing like training manuals for like overseas employees and like doing like software breakdowns and stuff. And then like from there I was like, damn, I'm kind of good at writing. Like I'm gonna try doing marketing. Fuck it. But like that's like how I got into it, the abridged version. But like yeah, I just feel for all those people out there. I wish that, you know, it was stress. The other thing is like during COVID, they gave out what like it's $300 a week or something like that. And people are now it's 300.
Depending on your
it
situation.
Was
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Right, but like I think now it's 300 and people are still saying like no one wants to work. And like to me, like there are a lot of small businesses that are trying to find people and like that sucks. You know what I mean? That's legit. But like when people like at McDonald's, they're like, "Oh, no one wants to come work for us." Like if your business is so predatory that like an offer of
multi-billion-dollar corporation,
$300 extra for your employees a week, like that's equal to what? Like a couple bucks pay raise. You know what I mean? Like if that alone is enough to make people abandon you, like you should reassess your business. You know what I mean? Like $300 a week could not take me from my job. You know what I mean? Like they
just think of how little of a percent that actually is, like in the grand scheme of things for a company like McDonald's. You know, like it's probably like a 0.005% of their like total income.
It's
like if they were to
nothing.
rate, yeah, it's just
It falls back on
nothing.
two things. One of them being the consumer will always take the butt of the damage when it comes to money. You know, when it comes to like inflation or other things like
as
that.
opposed to the business, you mean?
As opposed to the CEOs and the shareholders taking a pay cut, because that'll never happen. They're never going to do that. You know, they're at their threshold. Why will they give any less? And then it also comes down to the second thing, which falls right into the first thing, which is it's unskilled labor, quote unquote.
Yeah, I mean, I'm telling you, I work so much harder in restaurants than I do today.
Totally. It's bullshit.
It is not
yeah.
unskilled labor, bro.
No.
Like that. It's
serving
It's
tables
bad.
is a workout. Like,
Dude,
Yeah,
you know
dude.
how much like
I've even
lidocaine-
gained weight since I started working in offices. Like I don't.
Not
Yeah,
to get
it's-
too much, but like lidocaine, Vaseline, everything you
God.
need. You like
John had to stay lubed up on
yeah,
the court.
you're chafing. Like you got like 18,000 steps in a day. I'm just walking around like, oh my god, like I got steps.
Yeah,
I got a
it's
blown
hard
out
work.
heel.
It is hard work. I think like if if CEOs and politicians were expected to do that regularly, like I don't actually think they would change their minds on it, but I would just like to see them try to do that anyway. Like
Yeah. Well, they're
imagine like a congressperson like trying to like take a break.
first of all they're
Like,
too
get back to
damn-
work. There's another table.
they're too damn old to do any of that stuff anyways. So it's
Well, just like it's mind-boggling too. Like when you meet some higher up people, or you're like with some group of individuals that are like owners of, or like just higher up individuals of like companies that you'd think are like coherent and like can hold a conversation, but like these people still are like so dense and like just spacey, you know? I mean, not everyone obviously, but like you run into a handful where it's like it's solely on opportunity, like and just. Yeah,
it's
crazy.
It's not through like because they're smarter than you or like had a better plan than you or have more ambition or drive. It's like, there are
solely
a lot of
based on who you know and like,
and it also usually falls down on the privilege.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So when you started getting to work with Nutshell, like what were you first doing? Because I remember you did this split thing with like GDI and then Nutshell, and then like you moved fully over to Nutshell, right?
Yeah, it was I guess looking back on it, it was kind of just like a long transition period. Like, it wasn't it's GDI and InfoReady, and I was doing marketing for them. They're like a young software company for like the education sector. And their product is really dope. Like a lot of universities use it. Like, it's a cool place to work, basically. But Nutshell's opportunity for me was like doing the exact kind of marketing that I wanted to do. It was like content and SEO and stuff. And like I had actually vetted Nutshell as a CRM for a company that I was working for. And
can you say, what do you mean by vetted? I don't understand.
The company needed a CRM, so I like chose 3 and then like started trials of them and like made a recommendation. And
which was Nutshell.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a really good product. I was a fan. I was a fan long before I worked there. The company didn't buy the CRM, but I stayed like subscribed to the newsletters, and I like actually like read the blog and like got like advice from the Nutshell blog that I now write for.
full circle. It's pretty tight.
It was. So like when I saw that Nutshell was hiring, like I was just like, dude, I have to try to like get this job. Like this is an awesome place to work. And the position was part-time. My boss, Ben Goldstein, was approximately in the position that I am now. Mm-hmm. A little bit higher when he hired me, but still like he was managing content and stuff like that. He's now the VP of marketing. Okay. And so like he's crushing it. So I was there two days a week, and we were kind of just like waiting for like marketing budget to like be finalized. There were a lot of weird things that happened. Like we had like a live event that like took a lot of planning. And then like our head of growth at the time like left for another opportunity. So like it was hard for me to be like, hey, by the way, like hire me, like make me full time. So like that was kind of just like constantly getting pushed to like the back burner. So I stuck around at InfoReady for a little bit. Then they hired like some people to actually like do their marketing stuff. They just didn't need me anymore. And so like I consulted for them when they needed me, and like, just like helping them like just do random stuff that like typically like I was the only person who did. Like I just like showed everybody else how to do those things. Mm-hmm. And now they've taken it like even further than like what I was doing. So it was just kind of like a big long transition. It wasn't,
one big long cross dissolve out.
Yeah. Exactly. I understood that reference.
Hell yeah.
And like when you first got into Nutshell, there was something there.
Did I suck at marketing? No, I actually didn't.
No. Okay, I remember what it was. So during the whole entire switch of COVID and everything like that, I remember me and Trey were trying to curate our brand. And one of the things that me and Trey struggled with when we were doing it was like how to represent ourselves as a company. And I remember when we first started, even with TSLC Productions, and when we first started with Drop, one of the things that we had more difficulty doing was just like showing people who we actually were. We wanted to keep ourselves not necessarily faceless, but more professional, and kind of take our faces out of it and not really have like a social media, like people knew us as individual characters. And I remember when we were talking to you, you were just like, okay, well, that's unfortunately not really like what people gravitate to. And you were just like, people.
That is what I said. Yeah.
Yeah. You said something along the lines of like, you have to have a face because people have to know that they can trust you. Like if you're just one of those companies that is like faceless, like they're going to think that they're talking to like some big corporation versus like a company where like, you can trust that people understand where they're coming from. And, and you said something too during COVID. You were like, people just are so sick of corporations just fucking them.
Oh, I wrote an article about that. And in fact, a year ago today, Thanksgiving night, well, not today, but like a year ago, Thanksgiving. I wrote that and published it Thanksgiving morning. It was like full of feeling and stuff because like, you know, it was Thanksgiving and everyone was at home, like in front of their Zooms and stuff. Yeah, what I said to you guys is something that Ben Goldstein, actually, our VP, like it said to me, and it was just like one of those moments where like the sky fucking opens up. He said like the goal of sales is to be a trusted advisor rather than a seller. Mm-hmm. You only buy from people who you trust their advice.
That's valid,
you know what I mean? And like, you can't achieve that if like you sign your emails like, you know, the Drop Creative Corporation. You know what I mean? Like people want to talk to you and they want to get to know you. And like, you guys are likable people. You're not scam artists or anything. You know what I mean? Like that's a selling point. Totally. That's like it's like a whole angle. Yeah, I guess that's that. But yeah, the thing that I wrote was about like now like so like Gen Zers and stuff like that. Like they interact with brands all the time. They're online all the time. They get ads, they get newsletters. You know what I mean? Like they see through that shit way more than like our parents do. They're more cynical. But like if they see, you know, like me out there, for instance, not that I don't represent Nutshell at all. We have wonderful salespeople who do that. But like if they see like, you know, a human out there, like it makes it much easier for them to, you know, make a decision based off the fact that like here's
a real conversation with them,
right?
And, like
exactly.
Personable conversation or like be fun with it, you know?
Right.
People are way more adept to like you and trust your brand. I agree. Yeah.
Totally.
And I think with Nutshell too, that was a huge selling point for me because not only did I put Jack's face to it, but like I knew I was like, oh,
also
okay.
Eric, dude.
Well, that's what I'm about to get into.
Eric.
So like when I first started and we were looking at it, and I mean, we were just like, okay, so what are we gonna do? Especially when we kind of did this as COVID was starting up, and I was like, I need to make sure that our clients are all kept in contact with, yada yada yada, this and that, and I can still, you know, keep everything in a tightly wound spool where it needs to be. Who do I go to? Jack. And then Jack's like, okay, well, I can help you this far. But beyond that, like if you have any other questions, you need to set up a Skype call with who is Jared?
Jared is our lead account executive.
Exactly. He's the lead account executive. And then I literally call this dude and he's just like, oh, what are you doing right now? And I was like, I'm free. And he's just like, all right, let's hop on a Zoom call and like, let's go over it piece by piece. And it's just like, what the hell? How do you, what is the customer service on? What is this? So then he said in a Zoom call, and then like he's literally going over each individual part of Nutshell, how I can utilize that CRM in the best way possible. And I had like 2 or 3 Zoom calls with this guy that were like an hour long, and he basically just showed me everything in and out and how to utilize it in the best way possible. And I was just like, dude, how is this happening from a dude who's got executive at the end of his name?
Dude, he's
customer service.
He's like company leadership. My man has like 10 years of experience.
And
like,
how many people are at this company?
Oh, 20, 25, 20.
It's a decently sized company.
It's decently sized.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have two salespeople. It's Jared and Nicole. Mm-hmm. It's a shame you didn't get to talk to her as well because she's, you know.
Mm-hmm. I think I might have talked to her more than once or twice. I can't put a face to it.
I'm not exactly sure how the queue works, but like, you know, you get one or the other, and you know that's usually like your person. Mm-hmm. You get their emails and stuff like that. But yeah, that's what they do. Like they are just like genuine, trustworthy people, and like most of like their sales stuff, like it's not like Wolf of Wall Street, like you know, hitting them with a pitch and like the Gary Vaynerchuk 1-2 punch.
Pen.
Yeah, no, they just show people how to use the product, and they're like, "What are you as a business trying to do?" And you tell them, and they're like, "Damn, if I were you, I would set Nutshell up like this. I'd have your pipeline be 5 stages. I'd have a second pipeline for that." And like, people just they fucking love that. You know what I mean? Like that's so different from like what, you know, Salesforce and HubSpot customers get. Like I would know, I was a HubSpot customer. I'm HubSpot certified on God knows what. You know what I mean? Like, and you don't get that. Like you know, they tell you whatever they need to tell you to make a sale, and then they're like, all right, call support, man. Like, I don't got time for this, man.
Or you get put through to someone like that's just no help at all.
Yeah. A lot of companies. So also like, dude, I'm just bragging about Nutshell. That was not. I'm even wearing a Nutshell shirt, bro. Like, nice. This was not why I came here, bro.
Sponsored by Nutshell yet.
Yet maybe.
Let's go 10%.
But yeah, like our support team is like, they're from Ann Arbor. They work in the office and at home. Like they answer calls and literally just like listen to people and like help them do what it is they want to do. we don't outsource that shit. We don't have like a long queue or like bots that try to email you like, does this solve your problem? Like you call support and like a human answers and they hang up when you're done with that problem.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like we have a lot of stuff that makes us unique, like from our salespeople to the way that I work as a marketer to like our support team. And then our product obviously is fucking dope. So
And it looks good. It's got a beautiful UI. Like everything
does.
about it's nice.
Yeah. So really, it's just
Rebecca,
like it's like the best organizational tool for like the back end client management stuff, at least for our per use case, and just like tracking projects on completion and stuff. So that's been like the biggest helpful point from ours.
Is this a big advertisement, you guys?
I mean,
No.
it's kind of.
I'm kidding.
So one of the things about being like and this is where we talk film and photo, but this is also industry. This is our industry talk right here. And I think one of the things too and this is for people who might have a CRM already, or for people who are using Microsoft Excel as a CRM, because that was one of the things that I specifically asked you. I was like, can I just use Excel? And you were like, if you're a loser. No, but
I think I actually threw my phone when you said that. 30 seconds later, I picked it up. And
they've got like the white glove service is what they call it, like a butler. So like you can literally just give them all your data and they'll just plug it all in for you.
Wow.
Yeah. So like
That's
that was
clutch.
also helpful when I was like trying to navigate our clients and stuff like that. I actually never used it because I didn't have our data anywhere else besides in my phone and in our emails beforehand. But like if I did
scraps of paper.
you're
in
like the
corner.
ideal customer. Like,
well, if I did have it on like an Excel, like just to transfer it over, it's like it's a breeze.
It's possible, yeah. But yeah, we're talking about this because like video and photo, like especially when you're running your own business, I mean, it's just as much creating content and like making cool photos and videos as it is like the business side of it, dealing with clients, like sending out those emails, making sure you're marketing. Like there's just so many different steps to it that no one really accounts for. So it's valid information to know. I mean, I definitely didn't know I was signing up for all these roles.
Yeah, hell no. It's like that meme where it's like, I didn't want to work a 9 to 5. Now I work 24/7.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. That's like our ideal, like the thing about Nutshell, like it's for like small businesses and like operations like your like Drop Creative, you know. But like the customers that we get, like once they sign up, they rave about us. You know what I mean? Because it's like they go for it's not like for huge organizations that want Salesforce installed and it costs literally hundreds of thousands per year. You know what I mean? Like we do everything that you would ever think of, like almost everything that Salesforce does, even for way cheaper. And like people get that and they're just blown away. Like it pretty much sells itself. Like, you know, our sales pitch is just like, yo, trust us. Like
we got this.
Nutshell will make your business better, dude.
You also have like a free trial and everything too. So that's what really sold me, because I got into it and I got into where I needed to be. And I was like, wait, this is actually super helpful, because not only is it a client relations management tool, but it's also a project management tool. Like I can tell exactly where we are along our projects. And if somebody who's a producer or is really into, you know, project management, like being able to exactly know where you are on a project, even if it hasn't moved for like 2 months, be it on your end, scheduling, or because of the client's end, like it's really, really helpful. And it's kind of necessary to just make sure that everything's good, because there are times when, like, you know, we're working with a client, be it like pitching an ad or doing something like that, and we're just kind of waiting for them to make a move, you know, and I'll get a ping and it'll be like, yo, this client hasn't been touched in this long.
When you're dealing with like 4 and 5 clients too at a time, like it's hard to keep track of like, oh wait, I haven't emailed so and so
somebody back.
Like,
but then if I have it in my leads, and in my leads, like that project is still open, I can just immediately see like all the projects that we're working on, exactly what stage we are, and it's synced to the Gmail. So when I click on that project, it'll tell me exactly where we just left off in our last communication point, who was talking to who, all their phone numbers. And I think one of the most useful things too is when we were doing like press releases and other things like that, like getting contacts, entering them into my Rolodex, and then just being able to, like, if I'm trying to staff like a shoot, I can just type in like cam op. Like I've got Trey, but like if I can't cam op, who are the other cam ops that we know? Who is our grippers and gaffers? Like who are our PAs? Who are these people? And as a producer, that stuff helps a lot, just to make sure that everything's all in one place.
Totally.
But I didn't even think of it like that, like for staffing your own.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, because our crews fluctuate and like expand and disband like per project. So
it's super helpful.
I'm gonna write that article next, bro.
Yeah, I mean, especially too when we were doing press releases, like I would enter like all this press, and I would have like exactly what region or what not tabloid, but what journal they worked for or whoever. And it was just nice to be able to just be like, oh, okay, I can fire off these emails to this person and that person. And I just think it's super important to, as a producer, stay as organized as possible, because if you don't, like, things are going to start slipping and your client's going to notice.
Yeah. So John definitely deals with Nutshell and like the CRM way more than I do. I know how to look at stuff on there, and that's about it. But I wanted to just touch on Milanote real quick, like kind of the CRM, but like for creative stuff that really helps me out. It's basically just like this board service, like a board.
It's an IO.
Yeah, if you will, of basically just like project organization. Because like when you are dealing with like 4 and 5 clients, like, and you're dealing with pre-production on each one of those, where there's storyboards and like you're in all those separate phases, this tool kind of just like lays it all out for you. So I have all my different boards of like the different projects that we all have going, and like you can check them off when they're done and stuff. But you can click into each individual board, and from there you can make pre-production templates, shot lists, you can make call sheets.
Oh, wow.
Like you can do like just mood boards and stuff like for the very beginning stages and everything that are like really helpful. And just having it all centralized in one place, I think, is like the most valuable thing, because I mean, I've been like spread out where you're trying to fish and find something like that you were working
through
on.
The drive.
Yeah, or like Google Drive or Dropbox can get like super clunky, or not clunky, but just like thick, if you will.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, Milanote, I can't vouch for enough of like the creative aspect of what we're kind of talking about here.
And it literally looks like this. Like we sign it and it's drop, and it's got like boom, 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 whatever folders labeled. Like if we got immersive, info, intro, this, that, all this stuff, and then you click into it and it brings you into it. And then beyond that, you've got all your other notes, and it's all drag and drop with arrows. You can just keep diving farther. You can drop your documents into it. So I can drop a document into it, and then Trey can then download that document straight from that server space. And it's really nice because
one big like pre-production, like moldable and like flexible packet, if you will.
And everything's drag and drop. So for like people who work in Premiere and in Photoshop and other things like that, it's basically the same UI. And like you can drag and drop photos, put captions, that, and just build like these big.
It's like spider webs.
Yeah, it's like the spider web with the whiteboard and the corkboard and everything, but it's all electronic, and it really helps on the creative side.
Yeah, I think they have some free trials too.
Yeah,
get them to sponsor the podcast too. 10% off Milanote, baby.
That sounds like a must-have, dude. I've never heard of this, but that like
it's good.
It's like when you find that piece of software that is just perfect for what you do.
Exactly.
That's tight.
I mean, because I have like on my desk like sticky notes and stuff all over trying to remember, but like this is like your digital sticky note board that you can kind of just like dive really deep into it and like expand on these sticky notes. So,
and if people don't know already, Trey's a very visual person. It's not like he specializes in anything or anything like that.
I couldn't tell, dude.
Yeah, but
I've never seen any of the videos.
So like with your organization skills, like visual is super important. So to just have everything laid out in front of you and being able to navigate through it is super helpful.
Oh yeah.
I gotta rock a 10-1, and I think when we come back from that, I want to talk to Jack more about like marketing.
Yeah, let's take a 10-1 break.
What is
I'm
a
due for
10-1?
that too, because I just drank this whole coffee.
All right,
You guys can Google 10-1 if you don't know.
You'll never figure out what a 10-3 is. Whoa. Okay, we're settling back in after some 10-1s. So
3 10-1s.
Yeah, 3 10-1. But
10-1s,
don't get confused with the 10-3 though. We didn't 10-3.
So the thing about it is I want to talk with Jack a little bit more about marketing, because one of the things that we struggle with when it comes to marketing is just tracking ROI, how to convince the client, that what product that we're advertising to them is going to help their business. Because like a lot of people, they're like, oh, I want to spend the money up front. When like how are we going to show return on investment? Because like with YouTube analytics and other things like that, it gets it's there. But also just being like, yo, you guys need this, and this is how we're going to help you with video. And I mean, I know you can't speak on...
Do you want me to answer this question right now? Is it? Or?
Yeah, I mean, I just want to kind of go into like some of your marketing techniques and how you track and do other things like that.
Yeah, what you described is kind of where sales meets marketing. Think of marketing as like, I mean, I don't want to use the marketing funnel as an example because that's so obvious. But like, marketing is like you publish something on your website or social media or whatever, and like it makes a bunch of impressions on people. like your blog posts are so like ours at Nutshell. We pride ourselves on writing stuff that like is like a guide, like how to do this or like clearing this thing up, like the sales like misconception or whatever. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that people are gonna read and be like, huh.
Yeah, you're a huge voucher for writing blogs and to boost engagement and all that.
Yeah,
and that's something that we just like.
It works
can't.
when I do it.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
I mean, I
You
have
can
a,
do it. It
I
just
have
comes
a
down to a
big.
time thing.
Yeah, and I can't write for shit.
It does take. I mean, I've written some posts in like a couple hours because it's been in my brain for so long. Other posts like take like, you know, I'll keep taking cracks at it over the course of like a month, and then you know what I mean, like
Totally, yeah.
And so it's like, it's not one of those things. Like speed is basically irrelevant. But so like your man, I forget.
Sorry,
I forget where I was going with this. No, it's all good. So like your like our blog stuff, we just want someone to be able to be like, oh, this is the guide on win back emails, which is like what you were talking about, like your cold leads and stuff. Like we have that. Ben wrote, or he might have worked with a freelancer, but like Ben oversaw that, and like it's a piece of content. People see it. We want them to print it off and like put it on their desk and use it as like, this is how I can do my job. You know what I mean? That's the type of content we write. And it stands to reason most people who like, even our best case scenario, like they get the content, they print it off, they do it at their desk, they follow it religiously. They're not necessarily going to buy Nutshell, you know what I mean? Or even start like the trial. They might not even be that person. They might not even have the authority to do that. But after doing that enough, like that's where people start to filter through and they do start to hit that trial button. And especially if they see something in the blog post that's like, you know, by the way, Nutshell helps you do this. We have win back templates that you can just upload and then boom, they're in there.
So just using like blog posts in a form of like kind of like underweaving without, or like underweaving your sales in a sense without like blatantly being like, buy my product.
Exactly. Yeah.
And like that blog posts give you the opportunity because you can just write about anything, and like your case is like tutorials and like how to do certain things, and like, hey, obviously we have this product that's works great with this, or like is your problem solver. So
right.
Am I the only person who doesn't read those ever?
Blogs? No,
Well, not blogs, but like people send out emails and stuff like that, like with a company or like something where you just get what I would consider junk mail. And then
you
unsubscribe.
you gotta be like a fan. Like you would probably read it if.
Yeah, like American Cinematographer, I read their posts and stuff, like
their
magazine and stuff, like their articles and all of that, like stuff that's of interest, obviously, and like people who are interested in marketing and stuff, I'm sure would find those like juicy articles and stuff and like really get a kick out of those. So
right,
it's kind of just your market, I would say.
Yeah, and that's like your the stuff that you read. They're not writing just like how to diet or like how to live your life. Like they're writing shit that like you're thinking about regularly, and here's someone else talking about it. So it's like same with like Drop Creative, for instance. Like your market would be like cinematographers and like people who are interested in like the visual creative arts and stuff like that. Like that's, you know, who you guys will be writing for. And, you know, hopefully, like, if you write good stuff, they would read it and be like, damn, this was insightful. That doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to become customers. But, like, that's
that
at least
growing that insight and that, like, credibility is gonna like, in result, turn to, like, clients.
Right, yeah. And it's, you know, it's a bit of fine-tuning. We're still fine-tuning Nutshell because we came out with, like, we're fine-tuning our message. For the longest time, like, and when I joined, we were just the CRM. And so we would just write sales stuff and like sales tactics and how, you know, how to sell this and like, and now we launched our email marketing product. It's like an add-on type deal. And it lets you, rather than just doing like the automated email sequences and stuff like that, it lets you like design like, excuse me, all that vaping, bro. It lets you design like graphical, like newsletter style emails that are, you know, you can change the colors, add pictures, formatting, text, buttons, stuff like that. Literally like the monthly newsletters that you would read, John. Maybe not so much.
I got to start reading these things, man. I don't know. I'm missing out on a bunch of stuff apparently.
I mean, if they're targeted,
think of
right,
like how like the New York Post is like their emails are sent out. Like it doesn't look like an email from like you or I, you know.
Yeah.
It's like formatted all fancy and fun.
Yeah, Trey, you get it, man. Yeah, you get it. We often
it engages the audience for sure. That's not just like a blank text on.
And one of the things,
so
I mean,
now,
think of like a H&M ad or like a clothing ad that you click on. It's not just like a.
That's a great example, actually. Yeah,
you know.
like But yeah, so now we launched that. So now our customers can do that. They can send those types of emails as well. But that means that like we're writing like marketing email content now. You know what I mean? It's tough because we've got like the two marketing funnels. It's not just like talk about sales until someone presses the request a demo button, or the free trial button. I'm sorry, we don't have a demo button. That's called a CTA, like call to action, like whatever your button is. When people click on it, it's called a conversion. So like you can write great blogs that get read a lot, but they don't convert, and that means that like your business is not making money off your marketing. So yeah, now we have two funnels. We've got like the email marketing funnel, and then also like the CRM funnel. The CRM funnel is great. You know what I mean? We've been doing that forever, but like now we're trying to break into like this new space and like let people know like, all the CRM stuff that like and love from Nutshell is also available as this add-on. Like it's tough, and like it's mostly been like the VP like figuring this stuff out. Like it's like big overarching like direction stuff. Like who do we talk to now when we write, and like what content do we cover? I'm doing a bit of that, but like that's mostly a Ben thing. But
Yeah.
I forget what you said that even made me say all this, but anyways, yeah, it's just about targeting, and yeah,
it's insightful. Kind of want to touch on some fun stuff. I mean, we've talked a lot about Nutshell and CRMs and all that, that juicy stuff. John's told me a little bit that you're pretty interested in it and stuff, but I just wanted to hear your take on the overarching metaverse and like NFTs and stuff, because I just sold my first NFT yesterday.
Oh, you did?
I did, yeah.
Tell me it wasn't like a shitty avatar of like a monkey smoking a cigarette or some shit.
8-bit. Those are going for like $500,000.
I know, bro. It blows my mind, dude.
Yeah. But no, I released a collection of 4 pieces. They're poster children, if you will, or that's the title of them. But basically just some graphic design work that I've done over the years, and kind of decided to get my
already?
No, I think I might have 2 left, maybe 3 though.
All right, let me get those. They're all sold. I got them sold out.
Done. But yeah, I just like decided to get my feet wet with that. I mean, I saw people making some crazy stuff. A couple friends of mine are like big into like actually just collecting them and then like reselling them. They're not actually artists themselves, but at least in that realm. Right. But yeah, it's just a weird realm that I fully don't understand completely. But I was like, yeah, let's try it out. I mean, everyone's doing the thing. Hop on that bandwagon.
Yeah, I don't understand it at all, but I think that you would be good at it.
Yeah, I mean, it's
your art falls in the digital realm of all that.
But like the thing, like you're saying, like everyone's making like just these avatars, like a monkey smoking a cigarette, and it's like what?
Literally the only NFTs that I've seen are just like this dumbass shit.
8-bit character, like head of a character or something, or like you buy a foot of something. It's like,
dude, the 8-bit ones kill me. It's like, bro, this is like 350 pixels, bro. Like you paid how many hundreds for this, dude? It's like.
It comes down to, in my opinion, the utility, and I don't see any utility in any of that. And I don't understand how it makes sense.
It's the collectability and rarity in a sense. Dude, I'm not even like.
What if I take an NFT and I change the color of like 5 pixels on it? Can I just use that?
Well, I think it.
You know what I mean? Like that's not what you
and
did.
like
anymore.
classified it as.
It's my own. It's my own one. It's a monkey.
I think that might get a little sticky.
This is a monkey smoking a green cigarette, bro. Green cigarette gang.
Like, yo, this is the Virag NFT right here, baby.
I'm sure you could get away with some like quick shit like that.
How tight is like the copyright enforcement?
Until you get slammed with a lawsuit that
but
no lawyers understand what to even do with.
Exactly.
Like, what is this?
Yeah, like I don't understand how. Like from what I understand about like the way that like digital art works and stuff like that. Like you can't just steal a piece of art, but
it's like a copyright in a sense, you know.
But as soon as you do stuff to it, then like it's your own creative license, because it's like I think it's covered under like parody or something like that. But
I think it's like, there's like a % rule to that as well.
Is there?
I don't know if
actually,
I don't know if it's
is there actually for you episode about this last night with dumb Starbucks.
Yeah, I don't. Is it? 40%,
I remember dumb Starbucks,
it's
bro.
10%. It
only
has to
10%.
It's like 10%. of it.
It has to be 10% different from the original create.
Well,
like,
you also
work
have
of
to
art.
you also have to somehow establish yourself as like a parody artist. So like there has to be like a backing of you to fall on, where it's like you didn't just do it this one time, and like that's what the whole episode of Nathan View is about, because like he sets up all like those fake art galleries to like solidify his court. Like if he were to go to court, they could use that as arguments and stuff like that. So
I should rewatch that. Yeah, that was hilarious.
that dude's a genius.
But yeah, like the NFT thing is just I don't understand it. Actually,
I don't understand the big
you can
buck
explain
side
it to
of
me. I can explain it to others in a way that makes sense, but like at its core, like I just don't get it, dude. And like I don't get why people are going crazy for them. I mean, they know more than I know, obviously, but like people are paying like actual like
Millions.
I know
millions
I know
for
people who are
NFTs.
making a bunch of money off of NFTs too. Like this photographer that I know, her name's Eve. She sold like a few for NFTs, and she's got like 3 or 4 Ethereum coins in the bank. Just like, oh, I just NFT'd my work that would just be sitting on Instagram, and then like people notice
Oh,
it, and they're
wow,
like, yo,
dude.
They're like, yo, I'll take that, and then boom, next thing you know, you got a bunch of Ethereum in your Coinbase, and you're just like,
And
yo.
it's just-
That's so
it's
strange
weird.
to me.
It's weird
Like-
too how like Twitter is like the main like
That's
outlet
where
for
I see them.
NFTs
Yeah.
and like it's
Yeah, if you
Discord
don't have a Twitter,
too.
apparently you can't really do it.
No, you
Right.
can. I mean, it's all just your following and where you put it and stuff. But still, like Twitter doesn't really make sense on why it is that NFT like hub, if you will, because like I don't know. I would think it's a more centralized like if there's subreddits or like I mean I know there's Discords and all that too, which I haven't
Yeah,
even
I feel
attempted
weird
to get
about
in that.
joining. If
I don't-
ever anyone's like,
I'm
yeah,
not
join
on Discord.
join my Discord and we can talk more.
Seems
I'm
like
like, actually,
bad
I don't
news.
I don't
Yeah, I
need it
don't
that
wanna
bad,
do
bro. Like, no.
Trying to avoid Discord. Is that like the dark web
Yeah,
or something?
It seems like it.
Discord is like Slack. Like Discord, I believe was around before Slack. It's like just a communication. You can create your own forum essentially.
yeah,
you
it's
have
just
special
big old
channels.
group chat. Like,
Yeah, it's a group chat, and then you can have channels for like if you want to talk about like this specific like Monkey All-Star NFTs. You have like the Monkey All-Star channel, and everyone who wants those like they're allowed in the forum, and they also go to that channel. But like Slack somehow became legitimate very quickly, whereas
I'm not
Discord,
familiar with that.
Slack is literally just like business Discord.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
kind of like
And-
Microsoft Teams, right?
Yeah, it's a competitor to Teams for sure. Yeah, like I joined a Slack once, like because I had to, and I was like, damn, this is actually like the dopest thing. It's kind of like the Skype 2.0, like all the things that Skype never got around to doing. Slack like launched with those. Discord is focused on more like voice chat because it's used for like games and stuff. Slack is not. It's focused on like text and stuff like that. But they have like almost the same UI and everything. They like look the same.
Okay.
But yeah, Discord is just like sketchy. I hear about all these like Discords that are busted. Like they get busted because people are doing like illegal shit. Like they don't want to do shit on the internet. So like selling drugs or like weird
So
like
do it on Discord.
pornographic stuff. Yeah, so they'll do it on a Discord because it's like not exactly a public website. I mean, they still get caught.
I think
like,
it's just a way that people can keep in contact under the radar.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not
Is
okay.
it
So that's
really
not
under the
That's
radar,
not
though?
what Discord is, but I know that it's used in a lot of.
That's
people
how
who are
it's
doing
used,
Bad
yeah.
stuff gravitate in that direction. So I've never really even needed to utilize the Discord for anything. I mean, one time when I was playing a giant game of Among Us, I was on
Oh
Discord.
yeah,
that-
we did that. Yeah.
That's yeah.
Yeah.
Nutshell also has a Discord for like Slack used to have problems and it would like go down for a day. So like we meet on that. Then while everyone was there, I was like, "Hey, also join my Among Us Discord."
Yeah, let's all play Among Us.
we
together.
did. That's what it turned into. Like Slack was down like that night. Like the entire company was playing Among Us.
Hell yeah.
That's dope.
Eric and I kept being like pitted against one another. The support guy,
Yeah.
and your buddy from Ann Arbor. It was always like it was like me versus him, and like one of us was the imposter. That like kept happening over and over. And eventually, I was like, I like Eric too much. Like I don't
We can't do
want to
this
have to
anymore,
lie
bro.
about him. Like, I don't want to tell people that I saw him kill somebody, dude. Like,
I got really good at Among Us just because I'm really good at lying. So
Dude,
it's like,
I've discovered my my strategy is that like I just like scream a lot. And people are like, Jack did it. He's the imposter. I'm like, bro, what are you talking about, dude?
if I raise my voice, people will take me more
I
seriously.
think I just like bully people into like. But yeah, that's also what I do
Reverse
when.
psychology, the shit.
That's also what I do when I'm telling the truth, though, and people accuse me of stuff. It's like the same exact reaction.
Oh,
But
man.
It's like,
back to the NFTs real quick.
Yeah.
Just like wrapping your head around those people that are collecting like the multi-million-dollar ones and stuff, like, and bringing it into like the whole metaverse shit. I wonder if like I'm just trying to think of benefits for these people that are dropping this much money on these NFTs or something that they know that we don't. Like if in the future that there's like these metaverse galleries, you know, and like these owners of these NFTs are able to hold like virtual events in a sense. Like I'm just trying to think of like
I don't
a
think anybody's
reasoning
holding,
behind spending this much money on a digital file.
I think the reason
Besides just the collectability aspect of it, you know?
Yeah, I think it falls on collectability. I think that people are only buying them to hold, see where the value goes up with the coin, and then flip it.
Bro,
like,
I heard somebody talking about digital plots of land the other day. I overheard
Decentraland.
We just talked about this on our last podcast.
Yeah.
Did you?
I can show you it.
I missed it.
I'm
yeah,
into Decentraland, bro.
Are you?
It's basically like non-VR metaverse.
Dude, I would rather like buy a plot on the moon. You know what I mean? Like some hypothetical plot.
Some real shit.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I mean, who knows how the metaverse is gonna launch? But like, I can tell you, you can go to unsplash.com and there are tons of awesome looking pictures,
Free
and they're
images.
free, bro. I can have a gallery too in the metaverse, and like it's all Unsplash, and like, you know what I mean? I don't see how these NFTs are going to like return a bunch of money.
I mean, like
But
someone...
I'm not gonna say that they're not going to. I wouldn't. I mean, I like was telling people Bitcoin was a bad idea, and like look what happened to that. You know what I mean? So like I'm pretty confident NFTs might go the same way. Like maybe it's just the more people that get interested in them, that could be alone what drives the value up.
I mean, someone described to me NFTs as like Fortnite skins and V-Bucks, if you will. It's like
V-Bucks, dude.
It's like it's not tangible, obviously, but it's like there's a collectability of aspect of it where you see the skin that you really, really want and you want to play with or like have it on and stuff.
Yeah.
But like that's all it is, you know. It doesn't do anything for in the game or like for you in real life, but you're spending real money on this like skin essentially that you just can like look cool in. And like that weird mentality of that, like all the kids growing up, like my little brother is geeking about V-Bucks and having all the skins and like that's sort of
Christmas. Just pay me in V-Bucks,
dude. His birthday, all his little kids. He had a party. He got like a ton of V-Bucks. You know, it's crazy. Like it's the new currency.
That's
like
dope,
in the
dude.
young.
By golly,
Are we back in it?
All right.
back in it.
Technical difficulties.
Batteries on the desk and everything, dude.
Yeah.
Batteries on the desk. For some reason, our podcast system is not working with our AC cable, so we're running off of these nifty little AA bullshit batteries.
But you were talking about NFTs, V-Bucks, and all that stuff.
Yeah, so we were talking about just like the correlation of like how Fortnite skins are the same essentially thing as NFTs and like how little kids are just going crazy over them. But yeah, just like my little brother and stuff, how he's geeked up about it. And I feel like all the younger generation, like with Minecraft and that whole sort of thing, it's like hardwiring these kids' brains to like want these like non-tangible kind of things or like these collectible items, which I think when they get older is going to just translate into fucking NFT beasts.
Yeah, when you put it like that, it makes a lot more sense to me.
You also have to think of it too like an actual art gallery. So like art collectors and stuff like that, you know, if you want to buy the Mona Lisa, or if you want to go like buy things at the Louvre or anything like that, or just a museum in general, is just like, okay, well, I'm going to buy this from this art collector and I'm going to hold on to it because it's worth this much money. You think those dudes are actually like, wow, I love this piece of art. You know what I mean? Or they're like, no, I love how much this piece of art's worth. So then they hold on to everything. And then, you know, eventually when the market's right, you sell it. And I think that's kind of what's going on with NFTs. But because there's so much crypto being backed into it, people are just buying because the crypto market's so volatile that you don't know when you're going to be making returns, how long you're going to hold for, or anything like that. But so many people have made so much money off of it. People kind of have the incentive to just buy in now in hopes that it's going to be their like quick ticket to getting rich. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
when you do any sort of transaction too with an NFT, you have to pay gas prices on the actual Ethereum cost or whatever coin that you're using. Mm-hmm. I don't fully understand it, so if I misquote some things, then don't hold me for it. But I mean, essentially, like when I put my first NFTs up, I had to pay a gas price, and it was like $200-$300 equivalent in Ethereum.
Damn,
But like, and that was like a lot, you know, like I was like, holy shit, like people are doing this. But my understanding, like it goes down after your first transaction, if you will, like you're kind of instilling into this service. But that's the part of that I'm unsure of, because I think it is like per like collection or like per blockchain that you, or like per minting session that you do, you have to pay these gas prices.
I don't even understand why, because the coin's already developed. The coin's already there. The blockchain has already been past that point.
You're paying people who are mining Ethereum for basically like electricity and gas prices. I'm pretty sure is what like it trickles down into, is basically just like the cost of mining these coins. And Ethereum is pretty expensive. So like my next release, I'm looking on releasing with like a Tezo coin, which is a lot less to mint and a lot less gas prices for overall transactions. Again, I'm still very surface level with this shit, and I could be misspeaking, but what was I gonna say here? Just the I just can't imagine with like those multi-million-dollar ones of just like how much those gas prices and those fees are taking, because like I'm sure they're paying at least, I can't even imagine. I would say like $100,000 just in like prices to mine that many coin, like, because that's, I mean, a lot of Ethereum, you know, and it's just weird. I'm still wrapping my head around it.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Fucking weird.
Same, dude. I mean, it makes sense from what I understand.
But just
like,
the fees, like on top of purchasing like that big of an art piece, like I can't, like, where are people having this, like these art collectors or whatever, like having this equity to just throw around like that is, I mean, I guess different brackets, different.
We're just
different
not balling
pockets.
enough yet.
I guess, yeah that's it.
Different pockets.
Yeah.
So we're about almost at 2 hours here. I think it might be time to wrap up.
Yeah.
Jack,
Man,
is there anything else you want
I
to say?
don't want to go, dude.
Yeah, I know, right? It's fun.
No, it was great being here. Have me back soon. I've got a lot of stuff to say at all times. So.
Yeah. One thing we didn't even touch on is like what you did during COVID with like the whole stimulating the community around you and stuff.
Yeah.
A2 helps. Yeah,
A2
that was
helps. Yeah, see.
Yeah, it was led by Joe Malcoon. I just want to shout him out real quick. That's the team. Joe Malcoon. We had Emma Furlong, myself, Hannah Kuhn, Rachel, Kristen Gray Sykes, Austin Sykes. I'm missing a couple. Dylan Goings, Pat. Oh, damn, what's his last name? I don't know. But yeah, we came together and we allowed people to donate just cash money. And then that cash was distributed to frontline workers in gift cards to restaurants, restaurants and businesses of their choice around Ann Arbor. So it stimulates the businesses and it rewards like frontline workers for doing that crazy stuff.
Which all stems back to what we were talking about in the beginning of the episode, is just like that fighting chance for that like baseline like essential workers in that sense. You know?
And you guys all did that in what, like 7 days or something crazy like that?
We did it
That
very
blew up,
quickly, dude. Yeah, it was it was so Joe is a former Nutshell CEO and he's also an investor. And he also like co-owns the workspace that we work in. And
the Blind Pig.
Yeah, so it's like and a lot of the people who I just named, like Hannah, Kristen, Austin, are all like current or former Nutshell employees. So it was like there were a lot of us there, and then some other people from Atomic Object. I think Emma Furlong was from Clink, and now she does this actually really cool thing. It's like this like encrypted like phone app stuff. It's crazy. But yeah, it's like Ann Arbor tech people, and we had to help. You know what I mean? Like things were crazy, and like still to this day, I'm just like so grateful to like frontline people who like they didn't get a break, and it's not like they get a big long vacation when this is over.
Oh, hell no.
Then it goes like back to normal. Barely normal.
People are
crazy.
still pulling tips. Some sketchy restaurant owners are still doing what they shouldn't be doing and making people pull tips, not like, tipping people out the way they are. Yeah. But you guys basically curated a small microeconomy between restaurants. It's like
we did, man. I don't want to misquote. I believe that the final number was around 200,000.
Yeah.
And we had like politicians. I think the DeVos family donated.
Wow.
Lots of tech investors like around Ann Arbor just could not wait to donate. Like they're telling us to get our site live, like so that they could send us money, dude. They're like,
oh man, they're trying to send us money. We need to take that money now.
But to me, that the reason that's so like I even thought about like getting an A2 Helps tat, like because it was so like the idea that like the community just comes together and like. I didn't do a ton of stuff for that. Like I did some like generic marketing, like copywriting and stuff like that. And like I wrote our FAQ page and like helped with the website, which Hannah mostly like designed. But like everyone just pitched in a little bit and we made a huge difference. You know what I mean? Like, I I mean, Kristen and Austin and Rachel did a lot. They were like on the phones like all day with like people trying to like help them like do their gift cards and stuff.
And for people who are kind of missing what we're saying here, it's like through angel investors, they bought a bunch of gift cards from restaurants and then gave those gift cards to the workers to use at other restaurants.
It was a little bit more the workers got to choose their gift cards. So like the investors donate to this pool of money, and then we have an interface so like frontline workers go to our site and say like, I want this much at Sava's and like this much at Cottage Inn, and then like they get gift cards, digital gift cards with that amount on them that are paid for by this, you know, pool of money. It was it took some engineering. We had some good engineers
like building a full website that kind of like talks.
That was like Atomic
that whole
Object.
thing.
They're a local company as well, but like we had some of their development talent on that. Smart people, dude. It's beyond me.
Yeah, and there's like just so many other things today with Jack that we didn't really get to touch on the way that we wanted to. But I mean, that's just what this podcast is all about. We're gonna keep talking with people and guests and keep going over subjects like this. Jack, is there anything you want to plug?
Damn, we already plugged Nutshell so much. I can't even do it again.
Are you sure?
Okay.
I can't even do it again. Yeah, hit me up. We've got that 10% discount I can give to people if you find me, which you can. Jack Virag at Nutshell. Yeah. I'm on our website. You can get a hold of me however. But if you reference this podcast and you say that this is where you saw me, like, I will believe you. So I'll believe you, and I'll make our salespeople give you that discount. I'm banking on the fact that I can do that. So
hell yeah. Obviously, there's at Trace Armento on Instagram, at camera.cowboy. Follow us on Instagram at the.dropcast, all one word with a period between the and the dropcast. You can send us any questions that you want on askdropcast@gmail, all one word, askdropcast@gmail. Just tell us, you know, something you want to talk about. If you think you have a guest that you want to bring in, or, you know, just something interesting, let us know what's going on. Other than that, you know, watch us on YouTube. Oh yeah, and for everybody who's going to say it, we already know that half this show is out of focus because we don't have a camera op. So sorry about that, everybody. But other than that,
single focus. Happy
Monday in podcast time. It ain't Monday here, but it's Monday when you listen to this, maybe. So take it easy.
Have a good week.
Peace.
see ya.